All right, U.S. Secretary of the Interior Doug Burgum is in Venezuela this week, meeting with the acting President Delcy Rodríguez to discuss mining developments in the country. It's the second visit from a Trump administration secretary to the country since the ousting of Nicolas Maduro in January. At a press conference yesterday, Burgum and Rodríguez announced that two countries would be working together to develop mineral mining projects. So let's bring in CBS News national correspondent Lilia Luciano, who is live in Caracas for us this morning. Lilia, the Trump administration was first focused on Venezuela's oil. Now they're turning towards critical minerals. Explain why.
Well, Vlad, before I explain to you that part, I just want to bring people to the ground. The fact that we are in Caracas, Venezuela, in this park, last time we were here, there were paramilitary groups surrounding the area. You couldn't talk to locals. The lobby in my hotel was filled with intelligence agents from the Venezuelan regime. Now it was filled with U.S. officials, oil and gas executives, Venezuelan officials entering into deals with them, people who work for the embassy, which back then was shut down. But I do want to point to what is behind me, not the bus, when it passes. We're seeing, I wanted to stand here just to note, that sign says, "Nosotros venceremos," we shall thrive, with Nicolás Maduro with a peace sign. Now I think about the split screen and the peace sign from Nicolás Maduro when he was being captured and brought to justice in the United States. The fact that the Secretary of the Interior of the United States was sitting not just next to the interim president, but to his counterpart in Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello. He is the Interior Minister here, the person who oversees all of those nationalized mines and the oil sector too, the person who controls all of those groups that I mentioned before, and the person who still has a bounty for $25 million on his head in the United States, accused of the pretty much same crimes that Maduro was accused of, is the most bizarre reporting experience I've had in my life. Things have dramatically changed because of business and, more importantly, because of what happened here on January 3rd. Now to the oil and the minerals. This country doesn't just have the vastest oil reserves in the world. It has the largest gold deposits in the whole hemisphere. There are so many of the critical minerals for technology, for AI, that are in mines here in Venezuela. That is why all of those executives from more than 24 U.S. companies are here to cut deals through the United States with the government of Venezuela. They are planning to go in, to mine, to explore, to extract. But the problem is that Venezuela's mining sector has been controlled by the Colombian guerrillas, by organized crime from here in Venezuela, by corruption. So how are the United States government, now in business and partnership and shaking hands with the Venezuelan government, going to give confidence that the right conditions will be in place, that these groups are going to be under control, and that things are going to be able to, and business is going to be able to bring those minerals into the United States markets and into the global markets legitimately? Those are the biggest questions that we are now here to ask. But the deals that were announced yesterday on mining are as massive and as historic as the ones that were announced weeks ago by the Secretary of Energy, as historic as those that were announced before, the U.S. and Venezuela together, selling the resources and working together on the resources from this country. We're going to continue reporting, especially on how people feel about the transition. Like I said, it is a very bizarre one with a lot of things to note.
All right, Lilia Luciano with some important context for us reporting from Caracas. Thank you very much.